This is how we ride. This is how we do.
So last night we saw Brandon Overton jump into a number 2 car at East Bay Raceway Park, and he performed amazingly in this Warrior chassis. But something I want to point out here with what we saw with Brandon Overton is how important the rider of the bicycle is. You know, we had a conversation with the builder, developer of Legacy Chassis, the new chassis with the Rayburn and all them. And he explained how sometimes these big chassis, when they get to going, they're more so like the bike at Walmart. He was saying how Lance Armstrong could get on that bike in Walmart and win the Tour de France with it, and everybody thinks that it's the bike that's getting him to win the Tour de France, so everybody buys the same bike that he's buying. And he was also alluding to how, you know, Longhorn or any of these guys, they got some heavy hitters driving-wise behind the wheel of those chassis, and that's why they are able to dominate and perform so well. Yes, the chassis are really good, but he was saying how all these chassis are pretty much the same. There may be this little different or that little different or this big name attached to it or that big name attached to it, but these chassis are very, very similar. And there could be some chassis out there that are better than the ones we see dominating. They just don't have marquee driving talent behind the wheel. So imagine a world where, you know, Jonathan Davenport and Brandon Overton were running Warrior chassis every weekend. You think they're all of a sudden not going to win? No, they're going to perform very well like Brandon Overton just did last night. First time trying it out. He ain't even got used to it. You know, we hear this thing with a bunch of people getting these Longhorn chassis and they just got to get used to it. Brandon Overton jumps in a Warrior chassis, never even set foot in it, and almost has had a legitimate shot to compete for the win last night. Turbo goes in there one time when Overton's running second, jumps the cushion or something and smashes in the wall. It's all of a sudden Brandon Overton's race to lose. So I think the emphasis on a Longhorn chassis just being this amazing car is more so being hindered by the fact that there's a lot of Lance Armstrongs riding Longhorn chassis. And there's some other brands out there that aren't even getting rode. And if they had some talents like that behind the wheel, they would perform like we saw Brandon Overton. So I like seeing these other chassis get involved and build stuff and go and compete and watching this battle that it felt like had went off the table. I mean, Longhorns have dominated the year and they have been very dominant in racing action, but is that just simply because they have marquee drivers in a lot of their chassis out there? And I think we got a real good test to prove that true with Brandon Overton jumping in a Warrior chassis and doing what he did. So anyways, that's what I think. I think that there is just a lot of Lance Armstrongs and a lot of Longhorns out there, and all the other chassis ain't getting rode, and people are just thinking, I need to buy the same bike as Lance Armstrong and I can be him. That's just not how it works. What do you think? Leave a comment below, like, share the video. I'll be down there to possibly see this in person. You know, I got the Chaz is about to head down south, and then this will be very, very interesting. We got a lot of content in mind. We got a lot of content to put out. And maybe it could be around these other chassis out there that deserve a little bit damn respect. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to subscribe, and we will catch you next time.
This is how we ride. This is how we do.